if you have a young person in your life applying to college, that's you. My young person is your young person.
That's right.
Come take a seat at the empathy table,
Yes.
okay? Brace yourself for some numbers. In the 2023 school year, nearly 19 million students applied to college. 73% of them are now at a college or university. Not bad?
Okay.
May the odds forever be in our favor.
That doesn't, that's hopeful.
Yeah.
If you are one of those families considering college, or if you're knee deep into it like Marisol, time to look beyond the numbers, okay? Beyond your bank account. Consider the reason some of us even do this to ourselves in the first place.
This is very true. Look at those strapping young
Yes.
men. Brennan Barnard is Director of College Guidance and Outreach at the Conn Lab School. Rick Clark is Assistant Vice Provost of Enrollment Management and Executive Director of Undergraduate
Wow.
Admission at Georgia Tech. They're important fellows.
Those are titles.
Together they wrote a book. What's it called?
The Truth About College Admission, a family guide to getting in and then staying together.
You like that? Getting in and staying
Brennan
together.
and Rick, great to have both of you here.
Great to be here. Thank you.
Okay, this is a topic, this is a talker, this is crunch time.
This is crunch time, but the reason these two gentlemen I wanted to bring to the conversation is because as I look through the book, yes, you know, and you sadly know, I'm in it, right? November 1st came and went, we sent out a bunch of college applications.
Right.
But this is not just about college, because I think this gets to the basics of why families and communities choose more education for their children,
Well, yeah.
right? And a lot of this is just simple. It just really is. So you both know the inner workings
Yes.
of this business. Brennan, you come to it from the high school side. Rick, you come to it from the college side. What were the two themes, and I'll start with you, Rick.
Sure.
What were the two main themes as you sort of looked at this and were putting this together?
Yeah. Well, like you said, I mean, Brennan's working with families on the ground, and I'm seeing them arrive at college the next year. And I think the big thing that we have found is that people, for their kids especially, lose sight of the fact that as parents, whether they are young kids or, at the time they're applying to college, like, what we want for our kids really is choices and options. And I think people get really myopic and they lose sight of all the different things that are out there, the choices and options that are out there. It's a really vast landscape. One of the beauties of American higher education is about 4,000 colleges and universities in our country. So many different places to think about, and people focus on a really small set. And we wanted to reset and level set there.
How do you get, but is it, who's focusing? Because you have a vision for where you'd like your son to go, and then he has a vision for where he'd like to go.
And then society has a vision
and then
for where
society's
he's
pushing
supposed to
for
go.
one thing, and you have to do sports, and you have to go theater, and I'm in his ear like Manhattan College. And it's like, how do you kind of find, where do you begin to fuse it all together in the high school level?
And that's why we wrote the book, because so many people approach this experience. We really focus on the idea of experience, not process, as one of like, I got to get through this. Like, I got to survive college admission.
Yeah.
And it can be a huge opportunity for growth, for coming together as a family, as the title suggests. As there's so many opportunities to kind of move your family forward, however you define family.
Right.
And move your family forward rather than have this be something that divides it.
Right.
And one thing that I love, it's actually 2 points when I spoke to you, was the process is not equal. It is not egalitarian.
That's right.
Some people have resources that others don't. And I love that you say, make this a community. And the other thing is reframing the process.
Right.
How do you reframe the process of not losing your mind as a student and as a caregiver?
Yeah, I mean, I think the big thing there is, just being able to listen and give people opportunity to keep the end in mind.
Right.
I really do firmly believe, and one thing that we write a lot about is this idea of how you end up at college is a lot more important than where you end up at college. And for us, so much of that is about family.
Right.
And keeping that really at the center. So we try to talk a lot about this idea of listening, asking good questions, using it, like Brennan said, as an opportunity to think like a college student and ask good questions and not, kind of like test your assumptions and do your research. And it can be a time to actually learn and grow.
Right.
And so I think that is a lot more of a healthy way to approach things.
We highlighted 6 steps.
Yeah.
The first one is, as you go through this process, think about the relationship to one another. What does that mean?
Well, it's about setting expectations, right? About having open conversations as a family about what the expectations are, kind of why you're going to college, what you hope to get out of the
If you
experience.
wanna go to
if you want to
college.
go to college,
Right.
affordability. I mean, having conversations, open conversations about what it's going to cost and how much you're going to be willing to
Time
pay.
out. So how do you stop that? How do you start that conversation, right?
Yeah.
Because I have a few friends who are dealing with this right now with kids who are on the college level, and they're like almost embarrassed other kids. Well, we don't know if we can afford that school.
Right.
And so how do you kind of have that conversation with the kiddo?
I would say from the very start, kind of opening up the
Yeah.
books and saying, look, this is our family situation. It's going to be different for other families, right? And this is just kind of what we're working with. And so given that, where are we going to look? How are we going to go into this experience and find good fits, both for you as a school, but also financially?
And don't wait until they get in. This is something, Rick, you said. Don't wait until the acceptance letters come in and then say, oh, by the way,
Yeah.
you can't go, because
Right.
that would be crushing. We have, oh my gosh, okay, use the whole process as an opportunity for growth.
Yes.
Right. I mean, I think that's a key thing is if you are just so singularly focused on it must be X plus Y to equal Z,
Right.
and we're going to be on this tightrope, and that's the mentality going in, then really you're only setting yourself up, I think, for failure. But
Right.
if you're looking at it as, all right, we have all these different, again, choices and options, and we're asking good questions about, really, like, who are you? It is a time for self-discovery. Like, who are you? Who are the people you want to be around? What's the type of environment in which you best learn? And being kind of open to where it might lead. I think if both parents and students go in with that type of a mentality, it will change, again, the opportunity for growth and the way that you really set yourselves up for a relationship that's going to way long outlast
Yeah.
this outcome.
Right.
People are pretty outcomes minded when it comes to
Right.
college admission instead of empowering one
Right.
another. And I think there's opportunity there.
And he knows, because you interrupted our brunch, I relished my one-on-one time with my child looking at schools.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
got to see him go through the mental gymnastics and see him in an environment that was completely foreign to him. So it was learning for him and learning for me. I have the resources to be able to do that. But what about folks who don't? What are some suggestions for them? Because I know you actually
Yeah.
took some students.
Yeah. I mean, so kind of pairing with maybe another student in your class that is going to look at schools and going with them. There's tons of opportunities for virtual visits and things like that now, especially since the pandemic. And so, going online, doing those, showing up at your high school
Right.
when,
Yeah.
when they visit, all those kinds of things.
I loved interrupting that brunch, by the way. And this is an important tip. It's check your ego.
Yeah.
So whose ego are we talking about here?
Everybody's.
Everyone's.
I think both. I mean, I think for students, it's a little bit of not worrying about what other people around you are doing or
Yeah.
where they're getting in or not, or whether this is fair, makes sense or not.
Right.
Like, it really is about you
Yes.
and this next step in your life.
And to that, I would just say, just because I am in it, do your best to avoid social media. The process now, everyone's business is out in the street.
Yep.
And I think the more secure you are in yourself, and the more you steal that in your child,
Yeah.
the less painful it can be.
Sure.
Talk less to other parents of high school students and more parents of college students.
Right.
People have been through it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll still be here when she's ready.
We got a long way.
Rick and Brennan, thank you
16
both
years.
so much
Thank you.
for doing this. The name of the book is called The Truth About College Admission, a family guide to getting in and staying together. Get it wherever you get your books. You can take
stuff.
that one if you want.